Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I will talk about the spiral model in SDLC. In our last video, we spoke about the waterfall model. Hope that helped? Oh, haven't watched it yet? You can click on the I button on the right corner to watch it. I have created more videos for aspiring business analysts. You can visit our channel and watch them all either for the first time or receive once again. No need to subscribe. Today, I will give you a few of the insights and understanding on spiral model. Spiral model is one of the most important model for software development life cycle. It provides support for risk handling. In its diagrammatic representation, it looks like a spiral with many loops. The exact number of loops of the spiral is unknown and can vary from project to project. Each loop of the spiral is called the phase of software development process. The exact number of phases needed to develop the product can be varied by the project manager depending on the project needs. As the project manager dynamically represents the number of phases, so the project manager has an important role to develop a product using a spiral model. The radius of the spiral at any point represents the expenses or the cost of the project. So far, the angular dimension represents the progress made so far in the current phase. Each of the phases of the spiral model is divided into quadrants. The functions of these quadrants are as follows. The first quadrant explains about the objectives, determination and identify alternative solution. In this case, requirements are gathered from the customers and the objectives are identified, elaborated and analyzed at the start of every phase. Then alternative possible solutions for these phases are proposed in this quadrant. Next, I come to second phase of the quadrant, that is identify and resolve risks. During the second quadrant, all the possible solutions are evaluated to select the best possible solution. Then the risks associated with that solution are identified and the risks are resolved using the best possible strategy. At the end of this quadrant, the prototype is built for the best possible solution. Now coming on to the third quadrant, which is develop next version of the product. During the third quadrant, the identified features are developed and verified through testing. At the end of the third quadrant, the next version of the software is available. The fourth quadrant, review and plan for the next phase. In the fourth quadrant, the customers evaluate the far developed version of the software. In the end, planning for the next phase has also started. Risk handling in spiral model. A risk is a type of situation that might affect a successful completion of a project. The most important feature of the spiral model is handling this unknown risk after the project has started. Such risk resolutions are easier done by developing a prototype model. This spiral model supports coping up with the risk by providing the scope to develop a prototype at every phase of the software development. The prototype modeling supports the risk handling, but the risk must be identified completely before the start of the development work of the project. But in real life, the project risk may occur after the development work status has already started. We cannot use this prototyping model. In this case, the spiral model, the features of the product dated and analyzed at the risk of the point in time are identified and resolved through prototyping. Thus, this model is very much flexible compared to other SDLC models. Why this spiral model is called a meta model? The spiral model is called a meta model because it submines all this SDLC model. For example, a single loop spiral model actually represents an iterative waterfall model. The spiral model incorporates the stepwise approach of a classical waterfall model. The spiral model uses the approach of prototype mode by building a prototype at the start of each phase as a risk handling technique. As the spiral model can be considered as a supporting and evaluatory model, the iterations along the spiral can be considered as evolutions. Now coming on to the advantages for these spiral modeling. First is risk handling. Next is it's good for large project. Third is flexibility in requirements. Fourth is customer satisfaction. I'm going to explain each of these in brief. First, risk handling. The project with many unknown risks that occur at the development proceeds in that case. Spiral model is the best development model to follow due to the risk analysis and risk handling at every stage. It is basically good for large projects. It is recommended to use the spiral model in large and complex process and project. Flexibility in requirements. The change required in the requirements at the later phase can be incorporated accurately by using this model. Customer can see the development of the product at the early phase of software development and then can habituate with the system by using it before the completion of a total product. Now coming on to the disadvantages for this spiral modeling. First, it is complex. It's expensive. Too much dependability is present on the risk analysis. And fourth is difficulty in time management. Complex. How do I explain? The spiral model is much more complex than other SDLC model we see in front. Expensive because it is not suitable for small projects. It requires a high labor thinking. Too much dependable on risk analysis. The successful completion of the project is very much dependent on risk analysis without highly experienced experts. It is going to be a failure without a project using this model. It's difficult to have a time management in this case. As the number of phases is unknown at the start of the project, so the estimation time is very difficult to figure out.